Welcome to RamblinWreck.com, and look who's here. Bobby Cremins is back on campus at Georgia Tech. Great to see you.
Oh, thank you, Wes. It's great to be back. I see a lot of familiar faces. Believe it or not, there's still a lot of people here at Georgia Tech when I was coaching.
All right, tell me how this all happened, that you come back now to work with Brian Gregory, to work with the basketball programs, both men's and women's program, and really to support Georgia Tech.
Well, Wes, as you know, I decided to retire from coaching. The College of Charleston has been great to me. And they asked me to stay on as assistant to the president and help with the transition. We hired a new outstanding coach in Doug Wojcik from Tulsa. And so it's a part-time situation. And of course, I've always been following Georgia Tech. And Brian and I have gotten to know each other through golf and just basketball. And Brian was telling me how excited he is about the opening of the new McCamish Pavilion. And I kept on talking to him about it, and I said, Brian, he said to me, Bobby, we'd love to get you involved. And I said, well, I would love to be involved because now I have the time. And I'd love to give something back to Georgia Tech. And so we decided to come up with this project. I know how busy Brian's going to be with coaching and recruiting. So I just said, all I need is your director of basketball operation, Chris Jacobs. And I'm going to get a few other people, form a committee. And we decided to try and get everybody, whoever was associated with Georgia Tech basketball, back for the first game on November 9th versus Tulane.
Yeah.
And I mean everybody, Wes. I'm talking about players, coaches, assistant coaches, managers, staff, administrative, secretaries, you name it. We're going to try and get them back. And so the first thing we did was we got a database of everybody who ever played here. And on my committee, I have former All-American Roger Kaiser.
Right.
I got Willie Reese, who played for me, David Cole, and we're trying to divide it into eras.
Sure.
And we've sent out the flyer already to save the date. Some have come back with the wrong addresses. And in my responsibility, I'm missing about 6 guys that I'm trying to find. And it's been fun trying to find them and catching up with these former players. And hopefully on November 9th, some people will have conflicts, but we're hoping to have some really, everybody who's ever played here be at that game.
Well, so here's a good opportunity. If you have not received that information, you're a former basketball member of the men's program here at Georgia Tech, hit the feedback button at the bottom of the website at RamblinWreck.com and submit your name and contact information. We'll forward it along to the basketball office, and they'll reach out. And again, if you have not received that save the date information, tell me what it means. I know what it means to thousands of Yellow Jacket fans that you're back at Georgia Tech and associated with the program. What's it mean to Bobby Cremins to come back, after coaching at the College of Charleston, but you come back with 19 years of head coaching experience here, the program's all-time winningest coach, and multiple successes. What does it mean to you?
It means a lot. I mean, this was my baby. When I came here as a young coach hired by Dr. Homer Rice, I always wanted to coach in the ACC. I wanted to coach in the conference where I played. Now, I played at South Carolina, and ironically, they got out and Georgia Tech got in. But I'll always remember, when the job opened up, number one was ACC basketball. I'm very biased towards ACC basketball. I think it's the greatest. The city of Atlanta. That was, I've heard so much about, it's truly one of the great cities in the world. And, they said it was like the New York of the South. And then, of course, the Georgia Tech education.
Yeah.
I've heard so much about the academics. And when I got here, I learned so much about the alumni. I spent 19 years here. I had a lot of great moments here. And, I am moving up on age now. I just turned 65. And, before I pass away, I would love to give something back to Georgia Tech.
Well, I know people are excited to have you here. I know you're going to be at the ball game, obviously, on November the 9th.
Yes. Oh, yes.
You're going to try and make a couple football games, right?
Yeah, I'm going to be trying, without stepping on anybody's toes, I would love to help Brian Gregory in any way I can. It's a volunteer position, and it's just something that I would love to do from my heart. And I can't wait. I can't wait to see all these players come back November 9th. And then from that point on, Wes, I hope a lot of them will continue to support Georgia Tech. It's such an important part of all our lives. And I'd love to see these young men who played here. I would love to see them, be Georgia Tech fans forever and come to as many games as they can.
It is great to have Bobby Cremins back, one of the great Georgia Tech legends here at RamblingWreck.com.